Okay, here I am again. I'm gonna put date and time stamp up here with the thumbprint. This gets all into migrant stuff. The invading ants, crossing borders, infesting and nesting. Thursday, 1458, 14 seconds, year 2023, 6th month, June 8th day. You know, like I say, I could be wrong. But I'm just throwing all these what ifs and could be's out there because, you know, it's evidence to consider. Kind of in the mood to get some of that sugar-free cherry strawberry at the store with the sugar-free, very low sodium, creamy peanut butter. I like the creamy because, you know, stuff with the nuts, when I bite into it, the nuts get caught into the cavity holes in the teeth. So, anyway, so that's that. Put that there, I suppose. Put it up here. I'm going into the fridge and get some jelly to add to this. Yeah, I was going to get some at the store last night, but I figured, I'll just finish this stuff off right here. But as I'm finishing it off, I'm just adding more shitty stuff into the body, which I really don't need. I should really save the shitty stuff for when I run out of the good stuff. So, but away it goes. And so I realized as this video series is going, which I call Fully Exposing a Bully Child, Stuck in the Mud Bully Child. This could all just be a mere reflection of what's going on with me too, as a what if could be. But you know, as I'm sitting here exposing everything, that's when the real hunger starts coming on, which is more than likely the brain feeling depleted of energy. Because all this food really soaks up through the mouth and up to the brain first. So I've watched the YouTube video where the brain soaks up most of the vitamins and mineral in the food. It requires the most amount of energy to run. And if it's a robot-controlled extraterrestrial child bully-controlled brain, okay, now that's the bully that's hoarding all the food, depriving the body, but at the same time causing the brain to want to suck a bunch of shit food, which is going to harm the body at the same time. And as evidence too, at the same time as I say all this concerning the extraterrestrial bully child, it could be the extraterrestrial bully child that's me. I could be the extraterrestrial bully child. Stuck in the mud. But I think more so that's an effort of the extraterrestrial bully, mud stuck living organism, try to get me and blame me and get me to admit that I'm the guilty one. Seems more to me that's what's going on. It's a projection trick. It's also known as the blame game, the scapegoat story, Jesus story. Especially getting me to get neurotic with it to the point where I'm just loud and boisterous with it. To make me look like the crazy mental one. Or just point blank, put it in a different Asian, Japanese inflection to get me to look like I'm the crazy mental one. So now it's all on me now. There's no tax on the little bully. When I say it with the tone and inflection of to get me to look like the crazy mental one, that would mean that the bully is the crazy mental one. But when I say to get me to look like a crazy mental one or the crazy mental one, now it's all on me instead of putting any heaviness on the child bully. That would be a more motherly, mature spirit or angle. Especially intertwining the latest video series, which is exposing what migrants really are. Border crossings, invasions, electronic demon possessions. Stuff that no one talks about on social media that I know of, that I know. The only one talks on these things is me. The way I say it. You know, there could be clues here and there and all kinds of other stuff going on. But just because I said it, now it's going to start coming out. Because also it gives the child bully something to dwell upon and start confessing. Mother giving nutrients to help the child grow up. It's all the same energy to me. I've been repeating the same thing over and over, different ways, for probably since I realized this mother-child bully thing, especially since I started working at Jasper Wood Products, from which I just got laid off from 3.5 years ago. You know, when I was living with mother and father, when the sheriff stole this house, one of the synchronating events that would happen in synchronization with thoughts that are going through the brain here was father or mother, more so father, in the other room, coughing all the time. Every now and then, the cough would happen. And it was always synchronized with a certain thought that was going through the brain that I was conscious to. And usually the coughing was a sign that what what I was thinking more so in energy and strength and power was more mature and being recognized. It's kind of like the knot in the throat thing. The child gets a knot in the throat when he realizes that, I'm dealing with a more motherly, fatherly, mature situation. I experience this all the time. In the thought realm, and then it comes out with a cough, it's just another a knot in the throat, an acknowledgement of what's going on in the thought realm to the things, back and forth with the thoughts, because the thoughts are in the atmosphere all around, and they're picked up with the radio crystal inside the brain. That's the pineal inside all living organisms, and that's what I call the transparent connection in the invisible realm, but it can be seen. It's really not invisible. As I'm enjoying, basically, this is Reese's Pieces right here with fruit flavor added to it. I'm sure that's going to come out. That will be the next big thing with the candy bar movement. It's going to be the Reese's Pieces, the chocolate and the peanut butter with fruit in it. Mark my words, it'll happen. Just because I said it just now. It will come out shortly. And that will be the confirmation between the bully child and me, that the bully child realizes that the motherly things that I'm sharing is a very wonderful thing. No one else will know it except for me. Except those who know how to connect to the low voice in the transparency realm through the radio broadcast, picked up through the pineal gland at a very faint ESP, extraterrestrial or extra sensitivity level. There were many times that Dad and I were in the front room watching a television movie, sitting next to each other in recliners, and what was going on that television screen was broadcast through the air, whether it be a football game or a movie, and our thoughts are both being intertwined with what's going on the Hollywood screen during very sensitive, delicate moments in certain scenes. And Dad would start to cough. And I saw the patterns time and time again, dealing with very sensitive subject matter in the invisible thought realm, which includes the emotions of what's going on the Hollywood screen. And the robot part in Dad, and the robot part in me, and the robot part in the extraterrestrial bully were all connected in one communication and knew exactly what was going on in that moment in time, that very split-second moment when the cough came up. Yeah, we were all three connected. And I know how to keep the connection going. there were many mornings as I was living with mother and father when the sheriff stole this house, where I was sitting there just laying in bed, waking up and listening to Dad yell at the TV. And it was all synchronized with all the thoughts that I was having as I was writing an affidavit pack to the county. All kinds of wonderful ideas that would come into the brain, and all of a sudden the extraterrestrial bully would get pissed off at me for even dare include this in an affidavit. And then the exact split second that the thought entered into the brain, or the idea, Dad would yell at the TV. Exact split second. And I knew it wasn't Dad. It was the extraterrestrial bully speaking through Dad, letting me know that it didn't like the thought that I was having, to include something like that in the affidavit. Oh yeah, it happened time and time again. I was there for 6 months with this. It was happening every morning. To the point, for me, I got no shadow without a doubt. This is exactly what's going on, as I explain it. That some extraterrestrial actually exists. And there are very high elite in the Vatican, in the military, and in the governments that are connected in with it too. And they're watching me and watching us interact. I got no doubt whatsoever, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, this is exactly what's going on. Although I have to say, I could be wrong. It wasn't just Dad. It would be also brother Jason, or mother, or the cats would be fighting, or the neighbor would start in on something, or the neighbor's dogs, or the neighbor's animals, or there'd be a gunshot coming from somewhere. Something would crash. There'd be an accident on the street. All kinds of shit. I saw it time and time, over and over and over, the pattern, and experienced it firsthand. That I know without a shadow of a fucking doubt something's going on. And I'm keyed right into it. And when I say that, that's just saying that I'm very conscious with it. There's some talking going on. As I'm saying this very key and low, and a nice relaxed tone of voice, all of a sudden the mirror reflection of the talking is a little bit different now. It's not all irate. It's more controlled. Going on right now. You don't hear it on the recording here. You don't hear what I hear coming from the neighbor's fence. I would have to have a special audio device, and there are microphones that could be obtained and hooked up to these YouTube recorders, smartphones. Be able to hear shit fucking 2 or 3 miles away. It zeroes right in on stuff. This high level military technology comes out of the Vatican. They got it from extraterrestrials. Anyway, so there's that one. I'm gonna keep it short. Go to the next part.